I took on that belief that I was being punished by God just for existing. That God was going to punish me until the day I died. Everything I was doing was illegal. I broke the law all the time, but I didn't really have a choice in that. I would either break the law or face physical harm. As long as I complied and did everything that they asked, I didn't have the physical repercussions of saying no. I'm from St. Petersburg, Florida, but I was trafficked mostly out of Tampa, Florida. I have been a victim of human trafficking for more than 20 years of my life. My story begins really when I was like 8 years old, and my mom took me and my sister from school. She started to exchange us. My mom was selling us to child pornography, selling my body for an exchangement of goods and drugs and cash or the things that she needed. I was underage. So what that looked like is that I would be arrested, I would be safe for 21 days in JDC, and then given back to my mom. I couldn't leave. As time went on, we were exchanged to other people. By the time I was 16, I was purchased, and I was treated as a commodity to the time I was 31.
There are so many people. There's children and adults that are stuck in exploitation right now in our city, and they don't know how to get out. One More Child has a bunch of different departments where we serve vulnerable children and struggling families. One of the programs is our anti-trafficking team. We do things like respond in the middle of the night when law enforcement recovers a survivor.
I tried to escape a couple of times, and that wasn't really successful for me because I didn't have the resources. Because I had these criminal charges, I couldn't get a job, I couldn't get a place in my own name. My legal problems actually kept me being trafficked for years. Whenever I didn't do what they said, they would call my probation officer, they would have me back at court, I would do my time in jail. I was actually helpless.
When a survivor is leaving the life or beginning to even think about leaving the life, they need resources like housing, food, until they can find a job.
Most of my life, I've always felt alone. People wouldn't have anything to do with us, and unless they were taking from me sexually or harming me physically. There were some really hard times, and I know it wasn't me that got me through to the other side. If it wasn't for God, I would be dead.
All of us at One More Child understand that no healing can happen separate from Jesus. And so that is the undertone of every single thing we do, providing love to survivors.
My trafficker was a lot older than I was, and he suffered from a stroke. And I was bringing him to do some of his physical therapy. And in that, he was emotionally abusing me. And there was a lady who owned the gym, and she's just like, Misty, I don't know what you're trying to earn forgiveness for, but God doesn't have you earn forgiveness like this. That man doesn't care about you or love you, but God does. And I thought about it for hours. I brought him home and I was preparing his meal, and I was just like, I'm leaving. And within 2 weeks, I was gone. In Alaska, they didn't use the same background screenings and things like that, so I was able to obtain like normal jobs and get places to live. And I was 31, the last time I ever had to do anything for anyone that I didn't want to do.
Misty has used a life of hardships, exploitation, being called a commodity by people, and she's decided that that's not going to be the story for herself. She's taken her voice back, and she's decided to use all of the awful things that have happened to her and use that to connect with survivors and help them find their own voice.
I am a peer mentor for One More Child, and I am doing that now so that way I may support others to regain their freedom much sooner than I regained mine. I wouldn't have had to stay in my trafficking circumstances if I had a team like One More Child, where my case manager was helping me find jobs, finding safe places to live, helping me provide for, food and shelter as I gained the things that I needed. That showed me that there were organizations that actually cared about people that were going through and suffering some of the experiences that I was having, and then that there was hope and that they could be free from these things, just like me.
There are so many people that wouldn't be connected to services that help them leave exploitation if it's not for financial resources.
I'm actually receiving help. Those contributions really makes a difference in terms of healing and finding some peace. And the only reason why I have a therapist or even remotely having emotional healing is because someone generously donated their funds. There's power in community, and that's what these contributions do. They provide a community for survivors.